Informed TV, we're out at the Alexandria Shooting Park right south of the Freeway 94 and east of Highway 29 coming up from Glenwood. And we'll kind of show you, we're not very far from town, but we are kind of out in the wide open spaces as well. We're going to take a look at the trap shoot that's going on, part of the State High School League, I believe it is. We'll give you a little idea where you can go to get results from this trap shoot that's going on with our young people here this week in Alexandria. I'll give you a little idea of the scope of this event here in Alexandria. All the vehicles and campers. I'm doing this on Sunday early afternoon, and we're going to be talking to some people and to give the viewers of Informed TV just a little insight on how incredibly big event this has become. An annual event here in Alexandria. You can see how close the freeway is to it. I'm actually looking straight north at Alexandria as well. So we'll just give you some thought process and certainly invite our viewers down in Wilmer to come up and watch it. I think it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but we're going to check with the officials and see what they say. We'll also give you a little idea. They come from far and wide. We have some folks here from the War Road Warriors Trap Club, so it's a big time event. Informed TV wants to give all our viewers some depth perception as far as this event relating to trap shooting here in the state of Minnesota with our young people. As you can see, there's a long line here at the Alexandria Shooting Park as far as showing a great venue for people from all over the state, students from all over the state, to come to the Alexandria Lakes area where there's great fishing, great golf, great shopping, and just a great place to relax this summer. So we encourage our viewers from Wilmer to consider that, as well as those that are involved in hunting or guns in general, the redneck crowd, and especially I would invite educators out to this event in the Informed TV viewing area, because I think it's just incredible how they have motivated a group of students to do something in quite short order. Tremendous growth in this. And so I certainly would invite any educators, whether you're a college educator or high school or even grade school, and see what we can do as parents, grandparents, to see that our students at all levels can participate in something in our schools, as well as, more important yet, what does it take to see that our students are motivated to excel not just in school activities, but in life itself. And one of the things that I think is just incredible about this particular sport that we're watching in the distance here is the fact that this sport, probably more so than any sport in the state of Minnesota, points out early on to our students, if you make a mistake with a gun or in any dangerous activity in your life, throughout your life, you can injure or kill yourself, your best friend, a family member, including your parents or siblings, or an innocent bystander. So just think about the significance of this particular sport now we have in the state of Minnesota, and for our high school league, Education Minnesota, our colleges. Just think of the lifelong understanding that this sport can do, as the various clubs and the various communities and the various teachers that are involved in this unique sport that has potential to allow students to participate their entire life as well as get a important life experience early on, that there's certain things in life you better think twice, check twice, and make sure the environmental around you is safe for yourself and everyone else. We're going to go down now and talk to some of these people and watch some of our shooters at the Alexandria Shooting Park. To show you a little site the Minnesota National Guard has here as well for some of the young people that are here. We got a young lady on her way to the top, as they say. They're at the shooting park here in Alexandria this Sunday. Looks like she's figured it out. For the viewers of Informed TV, maybe it's been a couple years ago since I was out here and filmed this. They have expanded their vendor area substantially at the trap shoot here in Alexandria. So whether you're an Alexandria area viewer or Wilmer area viewer, definitely this would be a great day trip for you to come to Alexandria and talk to some of the vendors, as well as encourage the students that are here shooting and participating in this State High School League event. It is really expanded well. I commend all those involved with this project. Informed TV, we're going to talk with one of the vendors, Joe's North St. Paul Sporting Goods Shop, I believe. Sir, introduce yourself and what you guys are doing here in Alexandria this week.
Hi, I'm Greg Barnes, one of the sales managers at Joe's Sporting Goods. We're out here in Alexandria at the High School Trap Championship. We got a bunch of good trap supplies. That's mostly what we brought to this event. But at the store we do skiing, fishing, hunting, camping, water sports, all kinds of good stuff. But we're really excited to be here supporting the shooters and having fun with everybody. So.
And how, from a standpoint this summer or this event, you guys just got set up today? Is this the first day?
No, we got set up on Wednesday. Thursday was the first day of the shoot, so we're day number 4 right now.
You are, okay.
Been rolling about just under 1,000 shooters a day. So.
And how has been your attendance at the booths here then?
People have been milling through all day long. Talked to people from all over the state so far. I've seen people from International Falls and Warroad and Marshall, and so all over the state, and we're having a great time.
Is there any new products that Joe's is handling this year that my audience may be interested in?
Yeah, we had a couple of cool new things. We have shell catchers, of course, which are good for all your high school shooters. If you're in competitions where those shells can't hit the ground. We got a new moldable earplug from Flugs, and it's a lot like a mouth guard, and you can remold it. So you heat it up in some water, you put it in your ear and get it going, and you can reheat it as many times as you need to get the right fit.
Maybe you can tell my outstate viewers where they can find your store at in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, we're located on Highway 36 and Rice Street. And if you can't make it in there, joesportinggoods.com. And if you're headed to the state fair, we're really close to that. So that's a great time to come and see us if you're from outstate Minnesota.
Thanks for talking to Informed TV.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Justin Greeley with Greeley Plumbing Heating in Glenwood and Alexandria, your local Bryan factory authorized dealer looking to service all your plumbing and heating needs. Our number is 320-763-7333, or in Glenwood, 320-634-4486. Thank you.
You're watching Informed TV, Alexandria, Minnesota.
Carpet One, your one store for your perfect floor. Feel free to stop in and check out some samples. We'll be able to help you with all of your floor covering needs, anything from hard surface to soft surface. We have in stock, special order, sales going on with remnants and stock floor covering, as well as sales with special order floor covering. We offer installation and free home measurements. Carpet One, the one store for your perfect floor.
We have another vendor here in Alexandria today, and we have a lot of goose hunters in the Wilmer and Alexandria area. Sir, introduce yourself and what do you offer here for the sportsmen today?
My name is Zach Sahonic. I work for Maxed Out Guides. We're based out of Lackawanna, Minnesota, as well as West Metro down in the Twin Cities. What we've got today, we've got DOA decoys, floaters, full bodies. We got mallard floaters. We've got hoodies, sweatshirts, hats. We've got molt gear calls.
It looks impressive. And then what product are people seem to be most interested in?
The calls, they're a big draw. People like the sound of them. They're easy to blow. And the decoys also, they're great looking. They're durable.
Give us an example of how it sounds, sir. That should bring them in. And as far as explain, are you got a website where people can look at your products and services?
Yep, eastferris.com.
Okay, thanks for talking to Informed TV.
You bet, thank you.
We have, we're in the Benelli gun display with Reed Sports. Sir, introduce yourself and tell my audience a little bit about your company.
My name is Aaron Sheldon. I work with Reed Sporting Goods in Walker, Minnesota. We're a full-range sporting goods store from fishing to hunting. We're here in Alexandria today to help the trap teams stay in equipment. We've worked very hard in the last couple of months with some partner companies like Browning and Benelli to get wholesale pricing for the trap kids, along with Federal Cartridge Company, which is the toughest part is keeping them in ammo. So we've successfully done that. We've got special pricing for all the trap kids, parents, and coaches. So if you need some help with equipment, come on down to the Reed's booth or contact me at the store and we'll get you set up.
And your website is at where is that?
That's reedsports.com.
Okay, as far as what's new in the shooting game today, whether it's hunting or clays or marksmanship, can you tell us anything that way? Any new guns or products?
We're doing a lot of the new Browning 725. Adjustable and non-adjustable. It's a little better price point and target gun than some. Probably about half of the big names. We've outfitted a lot of guys with that. That was a new one this year for them. It's a 725 trap.
What about archery? Do you guys get involved in that at all?
Unfortunately, with the size of our store, I don't have any archery tackle.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. What about fishing? Anything new that is going on in fishing with your organization?
Yep. We've got all the new Lowrance HDS touch units. We have all the new Garmin 73 units on sale at the store. Both of those have been running really good for us. We've outfitted a lot of boots this spring already with those.
What about any particular features that seems to be grabbing people's attention on those?
That touchscreen operation for the depth finders has made life a lot easier for some of us who aren't even so good as operating smartphones. The new depth finder is a lot easier to operate.
Any fishing reports from up that way?
Leech Lake has been on fire this year. It's the best spring we've had in probably 10.
Really?
Yep.
The walleyes are hot.
The walleyes are hot. They've been sending me pictures of muskies for the last 3 days. I'm at the show, and of course the muskie fishing goes on fire while I'm away. So
well, we got a lot.
Come up and visit.
We have a lot of sportsmen in the Wilmer and Alexandria area, so that's a good tip. Thanks for talking to Informed TV.
Yep, thank you.
Sir, you're kind of head honcho, they say, of this event here in Alexandria this week. Tell us about it.
Well, welcome to the 2015 Trap Shooting Championship from the Minnesota State High School Clay Target League. So for the next 6 days, as we are featuring more than 5,600 student athletes that are representing more than 240 teams that are school-approved teams that participate in the league.
Wow. That what was the first year you started this?
So technically, the league actually started in 2001 with just a handful of kids from a local school, and eventually in 2008, as we became officially incorporated as a nonprofit organization, and at that time we had a total of 3 teams and 30 student athletes in our program. This year in our league we have 8,600 plus kids that are in the league that are representing more than 280 teams and 350 high schools throughout Minnesota.
And your own background, where do you get involved in something like this? As a teacher or as a coach or what?
No, as the vice president of the league, I get into everything in day-to-day operations in addition to being responsible for this entire event. And so my background's been in the marketing and sales side of things and working through that, and obviously a passion for helping youth.
You know, my audience will be used to the basketball season starts, the football season starts. When does the trap shooting start?
So the trap shooting season starts in April 1st, and we start that first week in April, and we go until next week when our state tournament that's sanctioned by the Minnesota State High School League concludes. And so teams that are participating today will qualify for that state tournament where kids will be recognized similar to all other high school sports.
So this is kind of a regional event to whittle down to your very best then?
It is. So we treat this kind of like a sectional tournament where all the teams show up and everyone has an opportunity to qualify as a team.
And how far and wide are they here? You maybe said that already. Is it all over the state or just this region of the state?
Well, our furthest north team would be International Falls, and we would probably go all the way down to Austin, or even Austin would probably be our most southern school.
And so the other regional event, would that have been or is going to be a Twin City event?
Yeah, so the state tournament that we host is going to be at the Minneapolis Gun Club next Saturday.
Okay.
And through that is 100 individuals have already qualified that, and they qualified from being the season high averages throughout the entire league. So those 100 individuals beat out more than 8,600 other student athletes.
And how many birds will they shoot as far as to base your score on? Do they shoot 50, they shoot 100, or in the various levels to move up?
Yeah, so we have 3 different classifications here today that invite everyone from the league, and those would include the novice classification that is an average up to 15. We have a junior varsity classification that goes from 16 to 19, and then 19 and higher is our varsity. So we don't base those levels on age or grade school, we base it on their shooting ability. So that way kids can participate with those who have similar shooting abilities.
So just to repeat, if you haven't said it already, as far as this is considered a state high school league event, or are you separate from them?
We are an independent provider, meaning that we are our own governing body where we produce that sport. So when we get recognized for a state tournament, the Minnesota State High School League recognizes and supports the state tournament, but we are not officially sanctioned by the Minnesota State High School League.
Okay, as far as any other communities or school districts that are watching this, are you still looking for additional schools?
Oh, we can add plenty of schools. So if we would have stopped at schools just a few years ago, we wouldn't have this many kids participating. So new teams can certainly inquire by going to our website at mnclaytarget.com, and there are sections about how to start a team, how to join a team, and they can contact us to help them get started.
Okay, that sounds great. I tell you what, the sun's beating down on you. We're really glad to have you guys in Alexandria. Give us some closing thoughts as far as something you missed or I missed.
Well, you know, we're bringing more than 20,000 spectators and athletes to the Alexandria area, and they've been a terrific host for us. The folks here at the Alexandria Shooting Park are obviously, hosting this event and putting on a terrific show. The 41 vendors that are here and the 2,500 plus coaches. It's thanks to everyone that is supporting this program makes this opportunity happen.
Well, thanks for coming to Alexandria. Make sure you come back again next year.
We'll be here next year.
Thank you. Informed TV, we're with the Pheasants Forever guys here. Sir, introduce yourself and what are you doing in Alexandria this week with the shooting going on?
Yeah, hi, my name's Chad Bloom. I'm our youth fundraising manager for Pheasants Forever and Quail Forever. We're up here to support the teams that our chapters support through mentorship, through animal partnerships, through coaching, and just connecting these young people to our outdoor heritage. So pretty soon these young kids are going to be making decisions about our clean water, about our hunting heritage, and if we don't connect with them right now at events like this, we won't ever have the chance. So we're just up here to get our name out and meet with these people and talk about what we're doing.
Well, that sounds great. Anything as far as, is the organization still located in Minnesota, the National?
Yeah, we're headquartered still in White Bear Lake, 4-star charity navigator. We're doing great things with habitat here in the state and across the country. We're doing great things with kids and youth. So it's just an exciting time to be involved with Pheasants Forever, and we're just accomplishing so much good work. It's just really an awesome place to be working.
You know, we talked to the DNR people both from North Dakota and Minnesota.
Yep.
Any thought as far as the hatch of pheasants this year in Minnesota and the area?
Early reports are good. You know, we've had a great spring weather-wise. We haven't had any big downpours, you know, so the moisture's come at the right time and the right amount. So we're looking for a really good pheasant hatch this year and good brood rearing weather.
And as far as on a national basis or membership, if people are hunters but they don't belong to your organization yet, how do they get involved?
They can go to our website, which is pheasantsforever.org or quailforever.org, and we'll have all of our membership information right there for you to check out.
I think there is a local chapter both in Alexandria and Wilmer, isn't there?
Absolutely. You know, so you can find them right on our webpage. It's Candioi County and Douglas County right up here. Great things are happening. So you can find local contacts there, find out about local youth events, family fun days, habitat projects, mentor hunts. So all of that information is available to you just at the click of a button.
It also appears now with the special session of the Minnesota legislature finally getting over that groups like you and Ducks Unlimited won big with a buffer strip along waters and ditches and lakes, rivers, right? Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, that's not really my area of expertise, but I'll tell you that we didn't win big, Minnesota won big. We're known for being the state of 10,000 lakes in our water, right? And water is a shared resource we all need. And so anything we can do to improve water quality across our state is a win for all of us. So the buffer initiative is a step that way, but it looks like it's going to be a good first step. But we got more work to do.
And for wildlife in general, especially pheasants and ducks, the edge effect is important. The more edges of cover you get, the more critters we're going to have, right?
Well, especially for pheasants, grass is the limiting factor. Grasslands are the limiting factor for high pheasant production, and obviously we've seen grass decrease off our landscape right now, and this is a good way to put some grass back on it. Like I said, it's a start.
That I think you won because the reports I've had, I haven't had a chance to check with all my sources. Looks like they're going to be a minimum of 16.5 feet buffer along drainage ditches and 50 in some areas. So I think you won big. And any closing thoughts you want the people in Wilmer and Alexandria to know about your organization?
Hey, I just want to say thanks for the people that support Pheasants Forever and Quail Forever. Thanks for the people that come out and attend our banquets. Thanks to moms and dads or grandpas and grandmas that get these young people outside, that give them the opportunity to come here and pull the trigger and even get them out hiking, biking, going on a pheasant hunt, fishing. All of those things build opportunities for these young people and make them better characters and just give them a better, broader experience.
Amen to that, and thanks for talking to Informed TV.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you.
Excavation when work needs to be done.
Hi, I'm Mark Lee. If you have a project, big or small, give me a call. If you need a job done for excavating or paving, give me a call.
You're watching Informed TV, Channel 21, Alexandria. Hey folks, it's officially summer. Bugaboo Bay is open for business. The doors are wide open, the tables are being set. Make sure you get out to Bugaboo Bay every weekend of the summer, and during the week enjoy wonderful lunches at Bugaboo Bay. Bugaboo Bay on beautiful Lake Lahamadou. Come by boat, come by bike, come by car, come by foot. It's Bugaboo Bay on Lake Lahamadou. Bugaboo Bay, your spot for food, fun, and entertainment all summer long in the Alexandria Lakes area. National Guard has got a fun spot for the kids. Now we're with the founder of this group, I think. Jim, introduce yourself and give us a little history on this wonderful event you and a few other people started.
Okay, Jim Sable is my name. We're not big on titles, but I have executive director behind my name for this thing. Started it in 2001. And it all started shortly after I retired. I started to spend a lot more time at the Plymouth Gun Club where I'm a member. And I still remember vividly the day a semi-trailer truck pulled in, and it had a load of targets that needed unloading, and the driver said, we need some of you young guys to get in the truck and move it all to the back. And I thought, I'm one of the young guys, and I'm retired, you know, so what's wrong with this picture?
Yeah.
And so it started me thinking that we needed to get some new young members into the club and do it quickly, otherwise our future was behind us.
That's great.
I decided to contact the DNR to find out if we did a little survey of our own members, and we found out in 2001 the average age of a member was 56. And if we'd have really wanted to do it the right way, we would have looked for median age. But we thought average age would be good enough. But you know, when you look at that, if you have two 70-year-olds and one 40-year-old, your average is skewed way low. And but it was good enough for what we were trying to do. Asked the DNR if they had any idea how we measured up with other clubs around the state, and they didn't. And so since I came out of a marketing background, I said, well, I'll tell you what, I will put together a survey if you folks will mail it out. That way we both have a little skin in the game, and we're both going to learn from this thing. The first thing that I learned I hadn't expected to learn, and that was that the 10% of the gun club had gone out of business already,
Okay.
and that there was another 10% just barely hanging on by a thread. And I said, you know, this problem is bigger than the Plymouth Gun Club. It's got to be statewide, and it's probably even bigger than that, to be honest about it, but we'll start with the state and see where we go from there. That was when I started contacting schools and trying to interest them in having trap shooting as in those days I called it a varsity sport.
Okay.
Since then I've learned more of the school language, and there is no such thing, they tell me, as a varsity sport. It's a league-sponsored activity.
Okay.
And that's what we wanted this to become, a league, meaning the Minnesota State High School League sponsored activity. The very first thing I learned is that when you go into a school and you're going to talk to a principal, an administrator, and an athletic director, you never say kids, guns, and schools all in one sentence.
Yes.
They turned out to be a real short meeting, and so I regrouped on that. The principal gave me the very best advice that he could have, and he said, you need to contact Dave Stead. He's the executive director of the Minnesota State High School League. Tell him what you have in mind, and he will be able to guide you. And that was the very best advice I could have hoped to gotten, and I did that. I contacted Dave Stead. The very first thing he told me was muster as much patience as you possibly can, because it took lacrosse 7 years to become a league-sponsored activity.
Okay.
So.
Are you really sponsored today, though, by the State High School League, or not?
We are not. We have a partnership with them, and the reason for that is the Minnesota State High School League has a rule that says they don't allow a practice or a competition on a Sunday.
Okay.
We do, and we almost have to, because it started out with Hermantown a few years ago. They were trying to get started, but the gun club up in that part of the country said the only day we have available is Sunday. Do you allow shooting on Sunday? And I said, you know, it isn't a matter of what we allow, it's what the parents allow. And if the parents don't mind the kids shooting on Sunday, then we certainly don't. If they don't like that idea, then, you know, they prevail.
Is that still the hang up to this day, though, that because you do things on Sunday, you can't be part of that group?
Right.
Okay.
But we have the best of both worlds, I think.
Okay.
Because when we formed this partnership with them, they now have a state tournament, and it's going to be next Saturday, June 20th, at Minneapolis Gun Club. It'll be the second one. Last year was the very first one, and it made Minnesota the very first state, in fact the only state, that is supported by the State Athletic Association or the Minnesota State High School League.
Okay.
And we organize it much the same way that we do this, but they put their name on it. And we couldn't ask for a better partnership than that.
On a national basis, how does Minnesota then compare to other states? Are we one of the bigger ones, or how do we rank?
We are one of the only ones.
Really?
That there are states that have tried to get youth programs started, but it has nothing to do with school.
Okay.
And we wanted it to be a part of school because, again, using the marketing background, I started with focus group interviews and started talking to kids and said, if we were able to get a trap shooting and or skeet shooting program in your school, what would it take for you to be interested in joining it? Two answers kept coming up, and only two answers over and over again. Number one answer was, we want to be able to letter in the sport just like any other sport.
Okay.
And number two, we want our team picture in the yearbook just like the other teams.
Okay.
One of the basics in marketing is they always teach you that if somebody is willing to tell you what they want, you ought to be smart enough to give it to them.
Yep.
So we had the two things that the kids wanted. Now the question is, could we deliver on that? So that got us back into the school, but now we had a story to tell. And the story was for all of those kids in this building that weren't cut out to be football players or hockey players or basketball players.
Which is the majority.
Exactly right. And now we have something, and we are the only gender neutral activity, and that gender neutral, I used to call it co-ed.
Okay.
That's what it is. Boys and girls, you can see, are competing together here. We also have the, I'm searching for the word, the correct word. They don't use handicapped anymore, and it starts with an A. But anyway, we have kids in wheelchairs in this program.
Okay.
And when they ask, you know, what do you have for those kids, we said the very same thing.
Okay.
And the kids, the parents, everybody really appreciate that. You know, we don't say you have to be in a different group because you're in a wheelchair.
What year was it? You said you started in 2001 or 2, what was it?
Right.
And what year how long did it take before you said, God dang it, I think we got something, a sustainable unit? How many years did it take to get that?
It took almost 7 years. We got one school, Orono High School, to start out. They were looking for mentors, so we got guys from the Plymouth Gun Club to volunteer to mentor some of these kids.
Which is essential for kids on any level.
Exactly, and then I went to the Wayzata High School, and Dr. Craig Paul was the principal, and I talked to him about what we had going, and I said, Orono has a team right now, but they have nobody to compete with. Could you, do you think, get 5 or 6 kids together to compete with them? And he said, well, you're welcome to try. So we did. That happened. Social media kicked in from there.
Okay.
The kids started communicating with one another, saying, we got the neatest program here. And the next thing we know, Minnetonka came on board, and then Hopkins came on board. And we went from 3 schools to 6, 6 to 13, 13 to 29, 29 to 104.
Okay, when was the 104? Were you still in the metro area, or by then you popped out to outstate Minnesota as well?
That happened to be about the year that Worthington joined the program. And here again, social media was doing the job. It turns out that the fellow that was organizing in Worthington hunted pheasants with the fellow that to this day is the coach at St. Francis.
Okay.
Those two guys got Worthington and St. Francis in there. Those kids started talking to their friends. We went from 104 to 257 to 357 to 450, which is where we are today.
What was the first year? Do you remember the first year you come out here to Alexandria to shoot? Any idea roughly?
Boy, I would say this is probably our 4th year.
Okay. And going back to a great vision and obviously a fantastic accomplishment of bringing a new group of young people into something they can do for their entire lifetime.
Right.
From a standpoint of, did you ever envision it getting this big, Jim?
Well, the part that I was focusing on at the time was saving gun clubs so the kids would have a place to do something like this. And the marvelous part of that is practically nobody thinks about that anymore. They think that this is a high school program, which is what it is. But 2 years ago, the Minnesota State Legislature realized that we had turned away almost 1,800 kids that year because of a lack of capacity at gun clubs. and they came up with $2.168 million for gun clubs and shooting ranges to increase capacity, add more trap ranges, add more skeet to it, and all of that. And they're continuing to do that. Gun clubs that had closed years ago are being reopened.
Okay.
Because people are seeing the opportunity that it's presenting. And when you take a look at the economic impact that this sport is having, in this 6 days, these kids are going to shoot about 600,000 white flyer targets.
Really? They're
going to be shooting 600,000 shotgun shells to break those. They're shooting them through some awfully nice guns. They must have eye protection, hearing protection. They can have shell pouches, shell catchers, you name it. I mean, people in my age bracket, when it comes to shooting, we have pretty much everything we need. These kids need everything.
Oh, so when we talk about 600,000 rounds just at this site?
Right.
What about from a standpoint, you know, kids today are in an incredible economic range as far as parents and financial support. Yep. So the shells being provided today for this week for this event, or at the local level for a club competing, and say the club in International Falls competing with the War Road Club, where do they get the ammo?
Well, they provide their own ammunition, but this again is the really neat story here. We have all kinds of groups that have raised up and said, we want the kids to do this, and
Fantastic.
So we will support them. We have some clubs in the state that have had so much support come in that they've had to form their own 501c3 nonprofit corporation.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it really is just neat to see the support that the sport itself has gotten.
What was something that really surprised you? And is this like your 14th or 15th year since you started, or?
Well, it's 2001 and this is 2015, so yeah, it's 14 years. The first 7, nobody really knew that anything much was going on because it was so much pick and shovel work.
Sure.
But from then on, this is the interesting thing. Everybody says to you, wow, this program has been an overnight success. Well, if you consider 14 years as an overnight success, they're correct.
Hi, my name is Lane Kalina, General Manager of Farmers Union Oil Company in Alexandria. We have a location also in Garfield, convenience store. We deal in bulk fuels, propane. We have 2 convenience stores, a full service shop, tire department, and whenever you're coming by our location on Broadway or Garfield, we invite you to stop in and check out all the things we have to offer. We are a cooperative and we do pay dividends to our customers, and it is a true locally owned co-op where we are self-sufficient. We're owned by our members, and all dividends, anything that's made here is paid back to our customers. So stop in and check us out and buy a tank of gas.
Remember to get your tanks filled at Phoenix in Alexandria.
Welcome to the Depot Express. If you're ever in Alexandria, please stop by. Nightly specials and happy hour 7 days a week. Come enjoy our upstairs entertainment. We have pool tables, dartboards, jukebox. We have a DJ every weekend. And we have our huge salad bar available 7 days a week. Come join us for a meal in our spacious downstairs dining room. If you have a larger group, we can accommodate you in our upstairs dining area. You can seat about 75 people up here.
them a few things that make you the most proud, or you think that where you really made an impact on communities and on young people's minds that you're really proud of?
You know, it would be real hard to pin down even 4 or 5 things. One of the things that comes to mind right away is that I hear from a lot of parents that have been concerned about the amount of time their kids are spending in their room playing electronic games. But
Yes.
they don't seem to have been very successful getting the kids outdoors. All of a sudden, I'm hearing from parents saying, thanks for starting that program. Our son, our daughter is now outdoors. And to be real honest, they think it's way more cool to shoot a real gun than to shoot something with a push button in their bedroom.
Exactly, and something they'll do their entire life.
Their entire life is really the key to it too. And
how do you guys fit in with the traditional, you know, in Minnesota and most states now they have to have firearms training. How does this group evolve or associate themselves with firearms training?
Well, one of the very first basics in this program is, in order to participate in it, you must have your firearm safety certificate.
Okay.
And after they have their certificate, then they are eligible to become part of the program.
Okay. And as far as anything going forward with this group, do you envision it to continue and expand, Jim? Or what's your thought that way? Are you tapping out, you think?
I don't think we're anywhere near tapping out. Last Saturday we held the 2nd Wisconsin State Tournament. Yesterday we held the very first North Dakota State Tournament. We have 14 other states that are waiting to get into the program.
And using the Minnesota model as their program.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
And so, in addition to that, when the program started, we were both trap and skeet because the Plymouth Gun Club had both. As we got more kids than we could really accommodate, we were going to spin them off. So we spun them off to the Park Gun Club, and they have 4 traps, but no skeet equipment.
For the non-hunter that's listening to this in Wilmer or here in the Alexandria area, the trap shooting that you're doing right now tends to be more related to what, either pheasant hunting, duck hunting, that type of thing. Am I right on that, Jim?
Well, pheasant hunting maybe. Duck hunting, skeet is more like that.
Okay.
And all of these targets in trap shooting come out of one house.
Okay.
In skeet shooting, they come out of 2 houses. They come out of a high house and a low house, and they cross in front of you.
Okay.
Some you have to shoot 1 target, and others you have to shoot 2 targets that have been launched at the same time. So that kind of simulates duck hunting more closely than trap.
In the facility we have here in Alexandria, how does this compare statewide or places you've been to in North Dakota or South Dakota or wherever? How do we compete? Does Alexandria have the venue you guys need, or do I need to help you get some additional things out here?
Well, the reason we are here is this happens to be the largest shooting facility in the state.
Wow.
We have 19 traps here. And even at that, now we are up to being a 6-day event. Next year we know it'll be a 7-day event. I mentioned that next Saturday the Minnesota State High School League is going to have their state tournament. On Sunday we are going to have the State High School Clay Target League skeet tournament. It'll be the very first one. We're starting out further behind the line than trap did, because in the entire state there are only 16 clubs that have skeet facilities.
Okay.
Again, the legislature is, if the kids want to do this, they say, let's make it available to them. I mean, we've been trying so hard to get kids outdoors, and now all of a sudden here they are, and we're saying we don't have enough room for them. So let's create enough room for them.
One of the things that I think about, you know, we cover a wide group of subjects, areas, and always challenging everybody. One of the thoughts when I came out here today is, are you getting anybody out from either Education Minnesota, the Minnesota Education Department, MnSchool, the State University and Technical School System, to look what you guys are doing, or to evaluate the incredible motivation you have brought to young people? You know, whether it's a high school or college level, the greatest thing I see in this is the motivation you have brought to young people. And I would sure like to see the University of Minnesota, MnSchool, Education Minnesota, the various teachers groups in the Wilmer area, the Alexandria area, to kind of study you guys as far as what you tapped here.
You know, even though we like to think that we've raised the visibility of the sport, realistically, we haven't done it as high as we'd like to think it should be. In the very beginning, schools would tell me guns are dangerous. We don't want our kids having anything to do with guns. Now, after 14 years, almost everybody is aware of the fact that we have not had one single accident in 14 years. You contrast that to other sports and the number of concussions that kids are getting, and those numbers are, I would say, staggering for me. Football had 3,000 concussions in Minnesota alone last year. Parents are concerned about that. We aren't trying to say we're better than any other sport. We just want to say, you know what, we got another option. If you aren't big, strong, fast, and agile, we don't care.
You're part of the important population of America and Minnesota, though. The one other thing I would probably challenge you a little bit, or your group on, obviously we want our young people to whatever genetics and whatever economic level they're at. Are you guys doing anything to, after this tournament is over here in the state tournament, to maybe post the grades of these marks persons to maybe give some insight for your various coaches, as well as the young people that are here in shooting, and maybe show the fact as a motivational factor for all kids in Minnesota to study harder, yet at the same time to show educators that you may have the champion shooter out here this year that's barely got a C average, about like I had in high school until I got to college. I had some real grades, but any thoughts that way?
Well, an interesting thing, the very first girl and the first person to join this program was a girl, and she was a 7th grader from Orono, and the reason she was in the mentoring program was because her grades weren't all that good.
Okay.
And by the standards of that day, she wouldn't have been eligible for the sport.
Okay.
I met with the Minnesota State High School Coaches Association, and I said, you know what, we have a situation where we're trying to get this started. The very first candidate, I'm going to be the first one to admit she needs the program a lot more than the program needs her.
Certainly.
And I'm not going to turn her away. And so he said, you know what, already you're years ahead of us. That's exactly where we are going, and that's where we're going to get to. And I think people realize that the kids need to be accepted into something.
Yes.
They can't be held out, because maybe they're having a tough time learning.
What about inner city kids? You know, you talked about Plymouth and the Twin Cities, some of the areas in North Minneapolis, some areas and probably in St. Paul, where the kids grow up thinking a gun is to protect yourself or to be a tough guy. Do you have any scholarship programs where you have some mentors bring some of those kids out to maybe some of the suburbs where you have shooting ranges?
Well, one of the biggest problems with that for us is the fact that we're turning kids away from the program already.
Okay.
And for an example, if Armstrong has had to turn kids away, and now we say we want to bring some kids in from a different district, and they're going to turn even more kids away. The schools aren't eager to have that happen. The other thing is we need that shooting capacity where the kids can access it.
Okay.
And there aren't any shooting ranges that are really accessible.
You know, I did some shoots with the DNR people at the Glenwood office as well as Fergus Falls, and from a standpoint, in some of those inner city areas, do you know, Jim, are we doing any firearms training courses, at least to get young people in some of these tough neighborhoods to understand the legal process as well as the safe process, and in a modern society, the right use of a gun, anything that way?
You know, I can't speak for the DNR, but the one thing that the DNR does have in their firearm safety training is that they have the online training.
Okay.
So in the old days when a kid had to go to a class 5 nights a week and then in the field day on a Saturday, that required a commitment by the parents as well to be able to do it. The DNR did recognize that may have been an unrealistic expectation, and so that's when they came up with the online learning thing. And I have to say, we have plenty of kids that take that, and then they need to go into the field for the online part, the in the field day part of it. But I can't speak to how they're marketing it to different segments of the audience.
Obviously, both you and I are not kids, and I've had you stand here and give this wonderful story to my audience in Willmar and the Alexandria area. I can't tip my hat to you, but can you momentarily take your hat off so they can see your good-looking face?
I'm covering my bald spot here.
Sir, that's great. Even step out into the sun here. I'll get a little shot of you, and any quick closing thoughts of something you missed? Step back in the sun here where it's beating down on us right now, Jim. Any closing thoughts you want to give for the people in Alexandria Lakes area as well as Willmar?
Well, to start with, we really have to tell the people, Tom and Cindy, that are responsible for this facility, how much we appreciate everything they've done to make this available to kids, because without this facility it wouldn't happen. But in the morning when I'm starting the program off, I say the very first people I have to thank are the volunteer coaches.
Amen.
We have 2,400 volunteer coaches sharing their time and their talent with kids for free. And
there's no charge for somebody to drive up from Willmar or from Battle Lake, where we got listeners, and out in Long Prairie. They can come in here and just kind of see what's going on.
Welcome
free of charge,
anyone. In today's paper, Dennis Anderson, who writes for the Minneapolis Star and Tribune, was astonished to see this many schools, this many teams competing, and he said it doesn't seem like a competition at all. If anything, it seems like one big family picnic.
I would have to agree with Dennis. Jim, thanks for talking to Informed TV, and keep up your great work.
Great, thank you.
You're watching Informed TV, Channel 21, Alexandria.